Well, good morning. We are here with the Monday mentorship. I'm so grateful that you're joining me today. My name is Cory Fisk, and I'm the founder of Construction Management Online. We're a construction curriculum that is made for construction people by construction people. And it is an opportunity for you to be able to invest in your employees and help them understand what everyone else on the job site is doing so that when we go into collaboration, we know what to expect from our other team members. Before we get started today, I usually answer 3 questions, but today I'm going to give you a bonus question, and I'm going to do that up front. And it's really more of a statement than a question. And that is that the older I get, the less I learn that I know. This is becoming extremely and painfully obvious to me as I raise my 17-year-old son, who's a senior about ready to go out into the world. I just really have never met anyone who knows so much about everything. And I think I can remember being the same way when I was that age. And so there's a lot of value in that, in understanding that we have confidence and we want to be able to know everything. But, even yesterday in a conversation between my husband, who's a demo contractor, and one of his employees, I realized that you can know a lot and not be able to have the words to be able to explain what it is that you're trying to get the message across. So with this all to say, I think in Monday mentorship, knowing and understanding, keeping an open mind and being acceptable to new information, and that you need to hold on and grab at the things that really resonate with you, and what doesn't, let it fall to the floor. Don't worry about it. You haven't lost any time by spending 5 minutes to glean new information from a new perspective. So with that, we will jump into today's perspective and ask some questions in our Mentorship Monday. So remember, I am open to your questions, so just make sure to message those to me, and you might see your question on next week. So today, what time-saving strategies do you recommend for reviewing drawings and specifications? So this is a great question because we deal with the drawings and specifications all day, every day. And in a lot of cases, the specifications start kind of sliding to the back of the desk, and we're just keeping those drawings out on the plan table the whole time. And we're always going through the drawings and being able to understand that these two are married together. And it's very important for us to make sure that we're looking for collaboration between the specifications and the drawings whenever we're researching. And that's really what we are doing all the time. We're researching for evidence and instruction on how to be able to move forward so that we can determine the means and methods that we're going to use in order to be able to perform this work. Now, time-saving strategies, first and foremost, always pre-planning, intentionally and strategically designing how you're going to move forward with a task or an event or activity of work. When we're recommending this for reviewing our drawings and specifications, I'm going to use a word that makes most men cringe, but you guys are going to get over it. Okay, so it's a journal, all right? But I'll call it a notebook for you. But grab a notebook. In this notebook, this is going to be where you're keeping little notes about things that are going on in the drawings and the specifications that are going to be able to shorten the amount of time and research that it takes for you to look up certain subjects or topics that you're specifically interested in. So if you're a specific discipline contractor doing plumbing, mechanical, electrical, or something like that, then you're going to be able to have a notebook that's going to narrow down very quickly on that information in the drawings and specifications for you. It's always really nice to have your own set of drawings. A lot of people love having a half set where they can write all of their notes so that they're not using a notebook or a journal. But we also have to remember that those are not accurate dimensions that we're looking at when we're using a half size. And so always having to make sure that that half size correlates with the original contract drawings that we're building from. In my specifications, highlighter pens, love them, and just being able to highlight those special notes in there. But specifications are very common sense. They're very uniform in the way that they're all set up. So if I want to look for something on quality control, I know which section of that particular spec that I'm going to be able to go to in each division. So being able to quickly move through having a memorization of the organization of the specification is going to help you move through that very quickly. With the drawings, I always, like to have the drawings organized, of course, usually in the order of which you're going to be building this project. But always, again, thinking and keeping the end in mind when you're looking through anything. So anything that has the potential of changing is going to potentially impact other things down the road. So always have your drawings and specifications updated. Have them have the as-builts put in any current RFIs that are impacting them, any change in conditions, any addendums, any of that all need to be put into this living contract document that we call our drawings and specifications. So with that, again, time-saving strategies, use highlighter pens. When I'm taking off dimensions, I like to note them in the corner of my drawings so that I know the square footage of the floor plan or specific rooms, how many doors are there, how many windows are there. And I personally use colored pencils in my drawings and correlate that with my list that I'm putting down on the corner of my drawings. And so being able to kind of put some of these little exercises out there will help you. But I'm sure that if you look in the comments below, there's going to be lots of people who are going to put in their own personal hacks of how they are able to review drawings and specifications very quickly. So let's move to that next question, which is, what's something you regret giving up for the sake of your work? Ooh. So what do I regret? Obviously, I have two beautiful boys, but I had established my career before I really had my boys. And so in that way, I was fortunate. But now that I'm older, like 54, I wanted to be a young mom that played basketball with my boys, and basketball was my sport. And I wanted to be able to do things like that. And it's been harder. I still try, but I've been able to snuff the ball a few times. But, my youngest is 6'4", so he's a lot bigger than I anticipated. It was much easier to beat them when they were little. But I would say that we really can't regret anything, right? Where we're at today is where we're supposed to be. The decisions and choices that we made to be here today, they were our choices. Okay. Some of the choices were harder than others. Some of them didn't feel like choices, but that's what got us to where we are today. And those life experiences developed a foundation that helped us learn everything that we needed to know in order to be able to take care of the circumstances that are presented to us today. So to say that I regret anything, including my other two marriages, any of that, it can't be a regret. It just has to be part of the learning experience that got me to where I am today, which is an absolutely amazing place that I'm excited to be. And if you're not excited to be in the place that you're at right now, then that is a note for you to start strategically and intentionally designing your path. What are you going to do to align yourself with those future visions and goals that you have for yourself? And then the choices that you make in that alignment are what's going to be able to help create that reality for you. But I'll just say that if I had to pick something that I regretted very early on in my career, I let the company work me. I was a sweaty workhorse. Like I would get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I wouldn't get done until 10:30. And a lot of it had to do with the fact that I was kind of like a closer. So anytime a project got into trouble, they would hand it off to me. And I don't know if they were doing that to see if I would succeed or if they were doing it because there was just a lost cause, but I took care of it. But it was hard. And so it was really hard when there were multiple projects like that being given to me. But I love the challenge. I love the challenge and I love being able to work that out. I would do it much differently today. I'm pretty sure that I caused some of the rough times in my management of those projects. I was a little bit in your face and you're going to do it the way that I ask because I have your paycheck. But I know how to work more collaboratively now, which is what I'm trying to teach all of you to do. And this is why, as a mentor, we reflect on where we made mistakes and try to help you see a better way to make your road a little bit easier. So I would say that if I were to regret anything, it would be working way too many hours, allowing a company to let that happen instead of educating a company in the importance of longevity of their employees, understanding that maybe 1 or 2 days a month or even a week, there might be something extra asked of me and I need to be able to perform that to help out in the moment. But for a whole summer, yeah, I don't think so. So with that, I hope that helps you. Just don't regret where you're at. You need to love where you're living right now today. And if you don't, then you just need to decide to change it. All right, let's move on to question number 3. How do you manage project scope changes during the planning phase to minimize impacts on timelines? Okay, so project changes in the planning phase. So the planning phase is very conceptual, right? This is where the owner has expressed what they think that they want. And a lot of it needs to be focused around the end user and how they're going to be using it. Because when an owner is discussing what they think that they want, they don't necessarily know how that's going to evolve. And there may be a lot of money associated with the way that they're saying it when someone who knows how to work with design and constructability can get them what the end user really does need and want, but at a much reduced rate. And so we want to be able to interpret what the owner is saying that they want in this planning stage and be able to bring it to life. And so when we're talking about specifically minimizing the impacts on timelines and budgets, by having a strategic plan in place, this is what is going to help us be the most successful. Now, most people don't want to make a plan in a more solid sense because they're like, it changes. It's always going to change in construction. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. It's going to change. Okay. But if we don't have a baseline to change from, then that means that we're all over the place trying to find some of those points that we can use as a solid pile there in order to be able to set a foundation. So by developing a baseline knowledge and understanding of what this project is going to be in that planning phase, then we're able to understand as we evolve and the project begins to develop, you know what, we had planned on going this way. That's not going to work in this particular situation now that we've discovered that we have these ground conditions. So let's pivot over this way and then we can move in this direction. This helps us keep forward momentum, which in construction is probably one of the most important things that you can have is forward momentum. You don't want to be stopping, thinking, and then starting again. Because while you're doing that, all of your subcontractors have all left and have gone to other jobs that they have on the books. So keeping forward momentum is really important on your job, and managing those project scope changes by strategically planning. Now, if you haven't done the planning and those project scopes start to change, my rule of thumb, you always look at the project with the end in mind, because any of those changes that you're making at the commencement or the beginning of that project are going to have a snowball effect at the end of the project. So whatever changes are made early on need to be transcribed through the end of the project, so that as you're working your way back, you can see whether or not it's impacting other branches for that particular activity or that task. So that's how you're going to minimize any issues or problems, because anytime that you're going to have an issue or a problem, it's going to impact your timeline. It doesn't always have to impact your timeline or your budget negatively. It can be a positive, but it's usually not the way it works out. So we always want to think and strategize and intentionally plan and design how we're going to align this project with our vision and our goal. So does that all sound familiar? That's like a master plan is what we call that, with a vision and goal at the end. We keep our eye on that and align everything from the beginning of the project to get us there. It's almost like talking about your life, like maybe manage your life. You can manage a project. I don't know. I like it, but I'm just saying, when you're planning, you are planning for perfection. Know that things are going to change. Be flexible and adaptable to that change. And that is what's going to keep your forward momentum. So I want to thank everybody for coming today. Those are our 3 questions that we have. And remember, you got a bonus in that. But the other bonus I want to mention to you are our Skill Builder courses. These are mini courses that are task specific. So when you're a young entry-level construction manager that's been taken out to the job site and asked to shadow a superintendent, and the superintendent watches the owner's truck drive off and then says, okay, you can go in the trailer now and go put the submittals together so I can do my work and lay out the footings of this building. Then you, construction management entry person, can look at our library of resources on the Skill Builder. And so in the Skill Builder, there are task-specific mini courses that take you step by step on how to do things like put a set of meeting minutes together, how to put an agenda together, how to write an RFI, how to put a submittal together. These are all things that sound very simple, but if you don't do them correctly and you don't do them right, that when they're really important, like in litigation, they aren't going to be organized the way that you need and want. So these are really helpful short courses. They take about an hour for you to get through, but they help you through your day. I also want to make sure everybody is aware of the 5-day workshop that's coming up. It's our Construction Management Accelerator. And in this 5-day workshop, we do an hour free of curriculum for construction education for 5 days in a row. And that gives you a warm up to our construction management essentials. If you think that you would like to be able to join this free workshop, make sure to look for the link under my profile that says 5-day challenge. I would love to see you. We're going to be doing that October 21st through the 25th. And always, I love being here with you on Mondays. This is our LinkedIn Live at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Make sure to subscribe to the newsletter for Construction Management Online so that you can catch all of our latest information. I will see you next Monday.